Today's tutorial begins with a very fond look back at the start of mass market drum set tuition. And in 1938, this book revolutionized the way people study our instruments. As I say, the first really mass market global drum technique method book. It's full of great material. It's a wonderful piece of history, and there's a lot that still stands up today. So that was 1938. 4 years later, along comes the young upstart on the scene with this book, largely written by Henry Adler, and the same applies. You can learn so much about the history of the instrument, the mindset, the way drummers were thinking back in the heyday of the swing era, late 1930s, early 1940s. Fascinating. Wouldn't be without them. Those books belong to my late father, and I remember him every time I sit down and thumb through those well-worn pages that got him so ambitious and excited about being a young drummer back when those books were relatively new. However, what I'm going to talk about today is something that I consider a little bit of an oversight, not to criticize those classic books in any way, but it's in their description of the traditional left-hand grip. The Krupa book describes the thumb and index finger fulcrum that we all know, and it says that the middle finger just rests alongside the stick, used as a guide. 4 years later, the Buddy Henry Adler book says almost exactly the same thing, word for word. Now, I've talked about this a little bit before now, call it the whole hand fulcrum, and here is an opportunity for you to see it in action. Now, this part of the hand, these middle two fingers, have a lot of strength and power. What I'm going to show you today is how you can use them just by taking the simple step and, dare I say, heresy, going against what's written in those books and closing the middle finger over the stick gives you all kinds of additional options with the traditional grip. Now, it's important to note that in this demonstration, the thumb and the index finger are doing nothing. Okay, they're just resting alongside the stick. What the books tell you to do with the middle finger. And everything we're going to do today is based around these two fingers. So the stroke motion starts with the ring finger and it pushes the stick upwards from underneath. And then, because the middle finger is closed, that offers resistance to that upward motion and pushes the stick back down. It's a little bit like push-pull. It's kind of different, but there are certain parallels that I think are valid. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Now, a way you can practice this is you can think of the upstroke from the ring finger and the downstroke from the middle finger as being like two sides of a sticking pattern. So let's try that and look at it this way. So we're going to go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, to put a context on that, and this is really important, now we've got the basics of the technique, got to start doing some stuff with the other hand and the feet. Otherwise, you'll never be able to use it other than as like a little party trick by itself. It's got to be valid and work within a musical framework. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do, say, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and with the two fingers. And I'm going to play a 2-3 Cascara pattern in the right hand, 2 and 4 in the hi-hat in the left foot, and the tom bow bass drum pattern with the right foot, like so. Now we're going to turn that around. Now we're going to turn that around. Instead of going 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, we're going to go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So think of that as being like left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. 1, 2. Now the upstroke from underneath has a little bit more power behind it, so it has a different tonal quality, so they sound slightly different, and that's nice. I don't want everything that my hands do to sound completely uniform. I want that light and shade. You know, the different stroke motions do different jobs in music, and I want things to sound different. If everything sounds like, yeah, completely uniform, it's just going to sound like a computer. I want to sound like a human being. I try. So let's put that in context again. 1, 2, 3, 4. And endurance with this is really easy. You're not overly dependent upon rebound, and you can just keep going and going and going, and you won't get fatigued. Now let's take the sticking logic. If you want to know what I mean by sticking logic, look for the video on my channel entitled "Sticking Logic," and do that in a slightly different way. So what we're going to do, instead of going one with each, we're going to do 2 with each. So it's like we're playing, thinking about it as if it was like a double stroke. So we're going to go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left. Now you can hear what I mean about the stroke from underneath having a bit more power. So it sounds like we've got an accent on the first and third beat of the bar. So if we turn everything around and go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, so think of this as left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right. Just like that thing I did the other week with a triple ratamaki between the thumb and the index finger, assigning the 2 sides of the sticking to 2 different parts of the hand. So let's have a look at that now. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you can almost hear like a backbeat in there. So you can do this technique with any sticking pattern, simple things like singles and doubles like I've been showing you, or more complicated, longer patterns, any subdivision, regardless. It's a great addition to your technique. And when you start to combine it with using the thumb and index finger, independently and integrating the whole thing, then the options really go off the scale, and we'll talk about that very soon. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to share. Check out my website where you can buy educational materials or some nice jazz records, and I will see you very, very soon indeed. Take care. Bye for now.